most of the summers were spent doing stupid shit like that in the creek, but we always had golf carts and four-wheelers, and that was what kids like rode around the farm. We would beat the shit out of those golf carts and the four-wheelers for that matter, but the golf carts.
We always had motorbikes. We were talking about this the other day because my granddad like built boats, and he'd always like in his spare time would build like little dinghies and stuff, and just have them at our shack. And so we'd have like a dinghy and then like a little outboard motor on it, and then our motorbikes, and we'd end up just like ride to the boat, take the boat out, or put the motorbikes on the boat, and then just try and find a weird place to go to. And so you'd like go out and find like a tiny little fucking weird island, and then ride the motorbikes around on it. And it's like, has anyone actually ever been here before? There's no houses or anything on it. No one owns it. You just try and like find random shit.
And sounds like fun.
We mostly stayed like on the farm there because a lot of the stuff we were doing would have got, we'd blow stuff up sometimes. Like we'd make little, I wouldn't call them bombs, but we were making firecrackers. Like when I think of a bomb, I think of like a fucking alarm clock stuck to some sticks of dynamite or something. But we were making big firecrackers, and we just set those off back there, or lots of shooting, obviously, all the time. And we would just walk around and shoot things. Like I see most people learn at a target range and they never do any. Like, what's fun is when you just walk around and wander with a gun, and anytime you see something that needs to be shot, you just shoot it. Like, it's not like, look at that rock there, it needs a good shooting, and you're like, I bet I could hit it. I bet I can hit that rock and then make it ricochet into that other one. Watch this. And like they just walk. We always had
did you always have the Ruger 1022s? We always had those.
Never had one.
They're fucking amazing.
I had a Remington Speedmaster. It's a semi-automatic 22. I had a lever action, maybe a Marlin or something. It was heavy, and when it had the hammer in the back and a scope on it. And then I got a cheap little pump action 22 one year, and I would use those three for like different styles of shooting. So with the Speedmaster, I would throw things in the air and shoot it because I took all the sights off, so it was just a round barrel. So we would just shoot gravel out of the air with that at close range with the 22. But then lots of like speed shooting with the pump action. That's really fun to do, like little targets. And then I hunted a lot with the Marlin, like the lever action. I shot a buzzard out of the air flying one time with that thing. I mean, in Minecraft, because I think those are probably protected in the real world. So you got to go to Minecraft. That's where buzzards aren't protected by anything. Yeah. Definitely didn't like one tap that bitch and have it fold up and like hit the ground like a missile.
I think you just inadvertently just opened a cold case file.
Fuck that buzzard. It would. I saw a guy. We were hunting doves, and a guy shot a hawk by accident, and like that's a big deal. They
don't look the same.
He didn't. Not only did not look the same, but like it's a crime, and everybody's like, get it, fucking hide it, dude, before the game warden comes and sees what you've done. And he's like, I didn't do it. And it's like, we all saw you do it. Like, there's 6 witnesses out here that watched you blow that hawk away. And like one guy steps up and is like, y'all bunch of pussies gonna argue about it. Give me this motherfucker. And he like grabs this, it's very dead already, and hides it, like throws it in the woods or buries it. It gets it out of the area. The game warden shows up 10 minutes later at the most and starts going person to person, seeing if people are drinking, if they had their licenses, shit like that. But he was a pretty good game warden. I remember I grew up with this really scary game warden who would stalk us. Like every day he would check our license. He knew where we were. And this is when I was a kid.
Took it too seriously.
Yeah, I remember his name. Like he was crazed. The guy that like showed up on the day of the hawk shoot, my buddy was drunk and he's like, dude, you're holding a beer. like go up there and sit down. He's like, you're right. When you're right, you're right.
when you're right, you're right.
And he went and sat fucking down. He was pretty cool about it. Could have locked him up probably, or fined the shit out of him or something like that. But this other game warden, as a kid, like my dad and I would hunt separately. I don't know, I was maybe 13 or something like that, and he'd be down the road 1,000 yards, 2,000 yards away somewhere, but we're completely out of contact. What's the point of a radio? It's going to and everything's going to hear it. Like this is before text messaging, and every time I would cap a deer, this fucking guy would be like somewhere within earshot on like the greater property there that we were on, and he would drive to me and be like, "You get one?" I'm like, "Yeah." Well, let's walk down to it and make sure you did it right, and then we'll check your license and this and that and the other. Like he stalked us for weeks. It was so weird.
Did he have nobody else in his territory? Just you guys?
There was a dead we always used the farm truck when we went hunting, and so there was like the crusted up remains of a dead baby chick back there, which is not an uncommon thing to happen on the farm. They die by the thousands, but it had like turned to like just a little skeleton with some feathers stuck to it. And I remember that game where looking in the back of our truck and being like, "What's this, pheasant?" And it's like, "Are you out of your goddamn mind? It's a dead fucking chicken, you asshole. We're gonna fucking run some DNA." God, you're such a piece of shit, dude. Why are you stalking us? Who do you think we are? We're deer hunters. We are deer hunters. At worst, we're trying to kill one and hide that we killed it and not mark it, right? At the time, you've got $2 a year. It was like
hawk flower in your truck bed, apparently.
That guy was such a piece of shit. That I was homeschooled that year, so like I hunted every morning and every evening. So I'd see this law enforcement guy like on a weekly basis at least. It was crazy. He stalked us so much. Never did kill the deer there. There's like a giant deer. That's how deer hunting goes sometimes. When like a bunch of people hunt in the similar area, there'll be the tail of the big one. Like, "Oh yeah, Jimmy seen it down there. He was on a combine. He looked down there and big and maybe 10, 12 points, 18, 20 inches wide. I'm telling you, seen it, Jimmy, seen it." And then it's like, fuck, I've been down here every day for a month and a half and I haven't seen the big one. And then like everybody's calling bullshit. And then sure enough, this cocksucker who was riding a combine, the deers get used to farm equipment. They don't even think of it. It's like background noise. He's on his combine farming, but he keeps his rifle in there with him. He sees the deer, hops out, turns it off, and he's the one who kills the big one. And it really was. It was kind of a once in a lifetime kind of deer. The deer don't
bigger than any deer you've gotten.
Yeah. The biggest deer I've ever killed was like 11 or 12 points, and I think only like 17 inches wide. That's how wide the interior measurement between the the antlers are. It's kind of a rough way of telling somebody how big something is. They have a whole scoring system that's pretty silly where they measure, I think it's how many total inches of antler there is, and then there's some sort of maybe they factor in how symmetrical they are too. That there are these things, these Buckarama contests where all these people put money in, and the idea is we're going to see who kills the biggest deer this year. And we're not talking about 10 buddies. We're talking about 10,000 guys who go to Bass Pro Shop this year. And they make you do a lie detector test once you turn in your fucking, like, did you kill this deer in a lawful and judicious manner during the act of hunting? And
I do so swear.
You have to, because you're winning like a boat or a truck or something like that. And in Minecraft, this guy raised a deer for years until it was enormous. And it was this specimen. And then he got his license. He put his camouflage on. He put his vest on. He got his legal weapon. He climbed a tree right next to the deer pen, and he shot that son of a bitch. So they were like, "Did you kill this deer during the lawful action of hunting?" And goddamn right.
To your knowledge, that is correct. Yeah.
The only law he broke was like, you're not allowed to own a deer. You can't own a deer. It's wildlife or whatever. But yeah, they had those crazy
wildlife sanctuary.
They had those big contests, and like the guy who shoots the biggest deer that year is going to like it's pickup trucks and bass boats. It's a lot of money involved.
Damn, there's a lot of huge bucks these people have killed.
Yeah,
good. What a great idea from that guy, though. It's a damn shame he didn't get away with it.
I think I know my dad is before I was born, I'm told, had a pet skunk that had been descented or whatever they call it. Like they just remove those glands, and I think they kept it in a pen, out back. It was not an inside skunk, I guess. But I was like, what the fuck? I come along and we get rid of the cool pets. Like I would have loved to have grown up with some kooky pets, but I guess not.
One of my friends' mums has a possum and a cat, and they just like roam around together, eating all the mice and stuff.
Fucking possum?
Yeah, Well, the possums are sort of different down here, though. They're like,
that's right.
they look more like raccoons, but yeah, that thing just hangs out. Like it'll sometimes come inside. Like you're sitting there by the fire at night, and you've got the door open, and the cat comes in. Sometimes the possum will follow it in, try and get a little bit of food off you and stuff.
I just looked it up. These are way cuter than our possums. Our possums.
They're hella cute.
Zach, show me an Australian possum.
Yeah, it's a brush-tail possum.
Brush-tail possum, yeah.
Yeah.
Just
they're pretty cool.
5.3 pounds. Just a little fella.
Oh,
They've got massive claws though. Like if they fight cats, they just
for hanging
fuck
on, mate.
cats up. Yeah.
Cats are no joke.
Yeah, they'll beat a cat easy. Yeah, they're fucking vicious. When they're nice though, they're pretty funny.
Oh, that's a much cooler animal, dude. Your possum is so cute.
Our possum looks like a grizzled police vet.
yeah.
He's been on
look at the claws on him
for too long.
I shot a possum one time. I felt so bad afterwards. I didn't know what I was shooting at. It was just eyes in the dark.
Yeah, It went dead immediately, or so you thought. It was just laying there sleeping
on me.
Our ones are real savage. Like if you don't hit them in the head with a 22, they'll just walk away. They're like really strong. It's weird.
Jesus, it's got. I
Have you
mean,
ever
I
done
would have it as a pet.
I bet you would like that, Taylor, if you ever did any varmint hunting, like when you go and shoot coyotes or foxes, because that's like the major complaints from hunting can be solved. Like hunting is mostly ambushing, and so you got to wait and wait and wait hours and hours, hundreds of hours. I've done this, thousands probably, just sitting in trees and sitting on stools doing absolutely nothing and trying not to fall asleep. It's very boring. But you can do hunting in ways that are fun. Like with varmint hunting, you use a collar. It plays a tape of like a fox getting its shit pushed in, basically. And the fox is like, "Holy shit, that sounds great!" And he runs up and one guy puts a flashlight on him, and the other guy shoots between the eyes, and now you've got a fox, and you get a bunch of those pelts made into cool furniture. I saw. I don't
see that would be fun because you want an active kind of hunting, like the kind where
that's
you have
how we
to
hunt
sit
in
there,
Australia.
Like, yeah, if you just have to I've
we
deer hunted
spotlight.
before, but every time I do a kind of hunting where I'm sitting still all day, I get like even just bird
anything
hunting.
that you can
walking around,
spotlight. That's
shit.
the kind of hunting you want to do. We were in Texas once, and I was like, "Wait a minute, is there anything here we can't spotlight?" And they're like, "Well, just the deer." Like, so everything else. It's like, yeah. So we get on top of the cage that's on the pickup truck, and we're just lights on going through the Texas wilderness. Like, something there. Is it a deer? Nope.
That's how we hunt
military hardware. So it's just like da 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 da.
That's how we hunt in Australia. So we just stand on the back of the truck and just drive around, spotlight everything. Not the deer, obviously, but all the like kangaroos and rabbits and stuff. But yeah, it's great. The kangaroos, like if you're far enough out, like if you're in like wilderness, like my friend has like a lot of property that's like in the middle of fucking nowhere. I don't even know what's happening. Like you can drive up and like fully, it's like a fucking gangland style execution. Like you could drive up in the driver's seat, put a gun out the window, almost touching their head, and just kill them.
All right, well that's a little
Jesus Christ.
They are so
they
fucking
run from
dumb.
us.
No, they don't run. They kangaroos.
They don't even hop away. They're just suicidal. Just there.
A lot of they will hop away if you get close enough. But sometimes if you get the light on them, they'll just fucking.
Have you ever met a domesticated kangaroo?
I've had the pleasure.
Yeah, there's heaps of them.
See, like, how can you meet one and then shoot them though? Because when I met one, I was immediately like, "Oh shit, I could never kill one of you guys. Y'all have personality and little." I had like a bag of mini carrots.
Cows have.
I'm getting these mini carrots out. Yeah, but hear me out. I'm getting these mini carrots out. I got a whole bag of them, and this kangaroo fucking boom, 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 hops up to me, kind of looks at me, like sticks his head up, sniffing at me. I'm like, "Yeah, buddy, I got a whole bag of these." And he's like, he reaches out, palm up, and I went, "You serious?" And he's like a monkey. And I handed him the fucking thing, and he like snatched it away at first, and he didn't know about it. He'd like bounced back a little. He didn't know who I was. Yeah, I don't know about you. And like after a while, he's like right next to me, like taking them from me real gently and just eating them and just chilling while I scratch his head. It was like it wasn't a wild kangaroo by any means. This is like the local like pet kangaroo. It lives in the
pretty much do that with some wild ones as well. Like if you have food,
how
you
could
can
you
just
shoot them
like,
then?
I just we went hunting about probably like 3-4 weekends ago, and I walked up to one, and I could have if I held out my gun, I could have probably poked it in the head. with the gun. I didn't shoot that one because I felt sort of bad for it. I was like, yeah, this one's dumb as fuck.
Yeah,
So,
they're friends, not food.
yeah. At least I was like, nah, this one's like right near the shack, like right near the lake house. It's like this one the kids will probably look at and be like, oh, look, a kangaroo. I'm like, I feel bad killing this one. So
there's been lots of stories that I would hear, and it was almost always like an older lady who would take in a fawn, a baby deer that was motherless, and raise it as a pet. And then when they would release them, they always do the same thing. They'll put like a big orange like scarf type thing on the deer, and to like try to save his life, try to keep somebody from shooting him out there if he's running around. I wouldn't shoot one that had a scar for sure. I'd be like, fuck. Deer's got accessories.
You feel I don't know if a scarf would stay on it though. Like where you eat it, like
it wasn't
was
like
it
it was like a deer scarf. She had a thing on it. It was secured.
Yeah, that's weird.
It looked like
if I saw that, I'd be like, that's someone's pet.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's strange.